Okay, it's 4 in the morning. You'll hear some snoring in the background. It's so funny. I always kind of think it's funny, like if you listen to different dogs bark, like they really do have these different sounds. Some are woof, woof, woof. Some are arf, arf, arf. Some are bark, bark, bark. They have these like different kind of things, and it's like their snores too, like his little gravelly, little tiny snore, and his little smushed nose. His nose is very smushed, and Max's sticks out so much further. He doesn't have that same kind of, I don't know, these dogs with these smushed noses have a lot of issues with their, I don't know, breathing canals or something. I think that maybe they're too short and they get infections or something a lot. He did blow out a lot of green snot one day. That was reminded me so much of Morty. Right at the end of Morty, he started doing that. He started blowing out this big snot. And I'm telling you, it is weird how much Archie is like Morty. Like, what in the hell is the chance of that? And I could go into a whole spiritual thing about that. Kind of like how it was where Lucy came. And she taught me a certain thing that prepared me for the next thing. And so then when Stella came, I had a different awareness. You know, I was going to take my time very serious with her or something. And it was like, I don't know, it was like Morty. I don't know how to explain it. Because it seems kind of like, I don't know, maybe Morty's soul is in, you know, more than one thing. More than one person or more than one animal. I don't know. And then he came here, I don't know, to get me to recognize, because he was here for such a short time and it was so much drama. But it's so weird how this dog does all the same shit that Morty did in that period of time. It is really weird. And especially because I kept saying maybe Morty's coming back to me. But I was thinking, I mean, this dog is a puppy, but it still was living when Morty was living. So, I don't know. This world is so trippy. And I've heard some stories that are very trippy. This one, okay, this one I just heard. This was good. And so this girl, and she tells this story. She's dark skinned and she works at the gas station. She's like very animated, kind of like, I don't know, Clerks or something like that show. Like these I don't know. She was very animated about the whole thing. She was like a show about it. So her telling the story is different than me telling the story. I'll just get down to the nuts and bolts of it. So she is at work with her coworker, and he's on the phone looking at something, and she is just standing there looking out the window, and she sees this unusual looking bird, and so she is noticing all these descriptors about this bird, and she's Googling it, trying to figure out what kind of bird this is, because she's never seen a bird like this. And she's doing it to the point where this catches the coworker's attention. So he comes over, and they're both looking at it, and they're both trying to Google it. And then the bird flies over. It picks up a stick. It has 2 green leaves on it, and then it flies over to the canopy over the pumps and is sitting there looking at him. So then she starts, like, you know, being funny, she said, and saying, hey, come get a cracker. I'll give you a cracker. You want some water? And all the stuff, talking to it. And she said then it flew away. And so then a second later, this little old man comes walking in. And so the things that she said about the bird. So the bird was black, but it had this 2 white stripes that went right here. It had these certain kind of speckle thing on it that she hadn't seen it before. It had a red chest, and there was a couple of things. So anyways, and it was dark. It was black. So she said this really tiny, and the bird was really tiny. And then, so this tiny little old man comes walking in. She said he's like 5'2" or 5'3". He's very, very dark skinned. He has dark hair with 2 white stripes that go back like that. He has, he's carrying a green suitcase. He has on this tweed jacket with black elbow pads, and it has these speckling things. He has this burgundy chest, this shirt with this whole thing, and then plus when you see her, like the way she's like the way he came in moving, like he comes in and he starts looking around, looks over at her, is looking around, like a bird, and then she said he walks straight back to the water. He picks up the water, and then he stops at the crackers, picks up her crackers, and her and the coworker, or she said, are just like sitting there staring like, what the fuck? And he comes walking up to the thing, and the whole time he's moving like this weird kind of move like a bird. And he comes walking up, and he sets the stuff down, and she goes, so you just need some water and crack or something she said, like I said, she's like a show. And so she rings it up, and I don't think he said anything. And so she rings it up and says that'll be $243. And he looks at her, and he does this weird little smile. He'd do these weird little like twitchy smile stuff. He reaches his hand into his pocket and pulls out $2.43 and sets it down. That's the magic we're going into, by the way. So he pulls in because that's the way, if you were a lucid dream and somebody's going to charge you, well, I got that right here. That's this part when you get into this part of being able to be a being that can do that kind of stuff, this shape-shifting way to switch. We can't do that because we're birthed into these containers. That's weird. God, when you just say that and then you see it, and then it's like, fuck, micro, macro, and the argument, the containers, in our containers has been used as a prison system for our souls in this place. So that's trippy. So it is like micro, macro, all this shit. So, but anyway, so we're in these containers. We can't just shapeshift, but we're letting go of these concepts that is all that it takes to change things. You want to know something too that's trippy? Is that, you know how I said, because I've been doing this stuff just through my guides for fucking this whole time. And all of these different things that I would do, I will talk about, when I figure out, I start doing yoga to fix my hip. And then it led into more, was doing this this stuff that when I went and looked, it was like, oh, I'm doing this Kwang Gong, I'm doing this. I started realizing I was doing real things, but I didn't know it. And these certain movements and stuff, because it's like naturally inside of us. And I just kind of do what feels right. And a lot of people don't do that, but the reason they don't is they hold themselves back. So it just is kind of going into okay, well, that's weird, but I'm just going to do it. And so I was doing all that kind of stuff. And then, so I have found the benefits of it, from doing it. And then, so I started talking about it and stuff. And, there's different ones, but on the one that I was just talking about with my stomach, and I've been talking about it for, I don't know, a month or something. And so I do exercises and stuff to tighten my stomach. And it even goes into, I had talked about before, I've got my grandma's frame. So I had my grandma's frame, only her stomach stuck out more. And as soon as my stomach starts sticking out, it's very uncomfortable to me. And so that is where people think oh, I'm anorexic or something. I should just go with the flow. And where I'm no, I would rather be comfortable. And so I will monitor my body to stay more comfortable. And it's more comfortable when my stomach is not sticking out. And then as I have been, trying to understand my own stuff and everything through all this stuff, in the stuff with surgeries and sickness and all this stuff. And I started being like, oh my God, all this scar tissue and this puffiness. And this is where you hold a lot of your trauma, is all in your root and your sacral, like it's all down here, and you keep holding it down and holding it down. And then people have physical issues in those areas. And you know, and I went a lot of years without healing because I was I don't know, I see it in a lot of different ways that I feel like I'll explain more later when it has more significance. So at this time, so I was noticing, and I was like going through the different surgeries and the different things I was going through at the time of the surgeries, my motivation, and just seeing a lot of things. A lot of this stuff too, through medical motivation, has to do with that's how we were programmed. We were programmed that this is the smart way to go. This is the, you know, this is how you deal with things. And so, you know, surgery, you got a problem inside of you, well, you cut it out. Like, what do you think? So we've been programmed a certain way. Things are changing and people are starting to catch on and stuff like that. But anyways, that, you know, and so I had a bunch of different surgeries, and realizing like the attack on the feminine, and there's just so much to it, because like they're doing these weird shit with the hormones and stuff, and then our bodies, like, I can't believe how many women have like these cyst problems, like all these things, you know, that I had, that I was suffering with, and now, you know, all these women have it is because of this you know, infiltrate of these hormones and chemicals that are affecting our body and making us sick. And then they go in and start cutting us up and everything. So the slicing and dicing that had been done throughout my torso over the decades had affected, where to the point where I even said I feel like it's like contorts, because I have the scoliosis, and I feel like when you go in and you get cut, like if you've had a surgery, then, you know, you're walking around, especially abdominal surgery, you're walking around like bent over. You're not supposed to lift anything. Like, it's a whole fucking thing. And it's like 6 to 8 weeks. And so when you think about it, when it grows back, how would it grow back? You know, if you're constantly like this, so you kind of grow back in these contortions. And in the time of healing, this is another thing too, is like, it's like your body goes, it's like your body becomes more of what it is you're doing. So you're not healing the parts of you that you should be. You're going in the wrong direction. And so that you go and you heal your body in this contortion. And so then and this, all this scar tissue forms, this big ropes of scar tissue, especially when they cut through and cut through and cut through. And so I, through all the different things that I had been learning and watching and stuff like that, I was like, you know, about the energy and releasing it and stuff. And like, we're not flesh and blood, but it's like this concept is there for us to work through. Man, it's so many levels, because as soon as you say that stuff, it's like, but this stuff is so real to some people, but it's not real. So I keep trying to do like this disclosure, but there's so many people who aren't at that point. And so it's just easier to just talk as the body as flesh and blood, because that is what most people understand it to be. But it has to do with matter and frequency and your concept of reality. And in this whole birthing process, like, there's a whole thing to it to get into these containers. And the experiences all have such relevance. Even people who think that their lives have no meaning have a deep relevance to the universe. And so, I had started doing this stuff. I was like, well, I'm just gonna be like, well, there's gonna be energy and stuff in here. And so I'm just gonna keep working on it, like doing those little karate chops and rubbing it, healing it, and doing exercises too, but also doing all of this kind of stuff. And so I've been working on that, and I've been seeing it slowly improving, slowly improving, slowly improving. And especially like I'm really kind of excited about the C-section scar tissue, It used to feel like this giant ass fucking caterpillar thing back there. It was all lumpy and bumpy and stuff. And it hold, like what I was saying, like it would heal. And it was like it had places that was like holding, kind of like puckers or something. And so I keep working on it, and it is becoming flat. It's really making changes by focusing with my mind, dealing with the area, loving the spot. Not like, oh, I'm going to go in and have the doctor just cut it all out. I hate it. I hate my body. No, it's being very compassionate, caring towards myself, and loving myself, and being open to the facing myself and my own trauma and stuff, and seeing the parts that I played. What was I here? My nose is itchy. What was I here to learn and stuff? And so, what that means when your nose is itchy. Ugh, my nose is itchy. That means there's goddamn poison parasites crawling up in it. So, anyways, so I've been doing that stuff, and I've been seeing results. And I had just said yesterday, I could notice a difference on my C-section scar. And that one was the C-section originally decades ago, but then they used it to do the hysterectomy, and they did 2 more. Because the first one, he messed up. The second one, so they had to do 2. It was like fucking bullshit, man. I've had nothing but fucking grief with these motherfuckers. That's why I speak the way I speak about it. I was sitting there saying something one day, and there's this one girl who, and she comes in and she starts telling this, about her great medical thing or something like that. I was just like, good for you. Like, yeah, if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm speaking in the opposite. If you know my history, which I'm not expecting everybody has to know this stuff, but it's just weird when people say things and it's like you're kind of speaking to the wrong person here. Like, I'm one of those people who is like, I'm on a megaphone speaking out against these critters. So, and that I just saw, I don't know who it was, a Congress, a judge, I don't know who the fuck it was, but they have made 160 arrests in the medical, and they are going more. I said, like, you wait and see, like, fuck, medical, judicial, like, all these things, CPI, all these different things, our pillars of society are about to crumble. Like, they are about to crumble. Like, I'm telling you, people who thought, like, oh, my son's a doctor, shit's about to go down. And there's corruption. There's so much corruption. And what they were saying, this person was saying, is something about, I don't know, something about price gouging and stuff. Like, there's so much stuff with manipulation and price gouging and, telling us that we need something that we don't need because they get a kickback. And that has had to do so much with, because to think about, like, they already had some big ones on there. Like, this guy has got 500 patients that didn't need the CHEMO, and he prescribed it and told them that they had the CANCR. And so there's going to be a whole bunch of that kind of shit. And a doctor was like, oh, well, I don't have a lot of money. I don't know what's really going on with them. It won't hurt. I'll just, I'll make money. I'll get my bills paid. My wife wants to go on a trip anyways, just whatever goes on in people's minds. It's like the avenue's there, the road's there, it's lit up. What do I do? What do I do? Well, you follow your integrity, because if you don't, it's going to catch up with you. And that's what we're going to see. A lot of people's shit is going to catch up with them. So it's going to be a big fucking thing. But so, on mine, I've been working on that, working on it. It's been slow. And I've been trying to tell other people, like, there's benefits to this stuff. You guys really, aging's fake. And, what was that? Because that was something with the minerals, too. I was like, people just don't realize, like, yeah, everything is these mineral deficiencies. Oh, it's something about, yeah, where people start... At that point where people start being like, oh, I don't want to exercise. I'm too tired. I'm just tired. I worked hard today. I just don't feel like doing anything. I'm just going to sit here and relax. That is, at that point, that is where you're mineral deficient. That's what I was seeing yesterday. That is where people start being like, well, I'm old and it's uncomfortable. And, I'm getting old. I don't have to keep up with all that. I don't have to do that. I'm married. Why do I have to keep doing that? Why do I have to keep taking care of myself? So, anyways, there's a lot for humans to learn. This is what's going on. We're in this big show, like, of lessons and consequences. So anyways, yesterday after I had said that in the morning and I was on TikTok looking, there's this girl and she was young. I think she was 50. Pretty sure she was 50. I keep seeing all these ones. Like, this is a definite a thing. Like, there's one girl who does these dances with her mom, and they're Korean or something. But the daughter's like 21 and the mom's 51. The mom looks younger than the daughter. It is like, fuck, man. And there's more and more of these. Like, and then there's some of these countries that have known some of this, like, especially in the Eastern regions, that they followed more of these philosophies and stuff towards health. And so they have a lot better things. And so there is a lot of people over there who look way younger because they know how to take care of themselves. But over here, we're in this reality where I'm tired. But it's because, like, everybody's minerally deficient. And so they really are. It's like, fuck, dude, I can't. I'm just, like, tired. What's wrong with me? I guess I'm old. So it's where people start realizing, like, fuck, I'm not getting old. I'm fucking drained. I have no minerals. I have no nutrients. I got to fucking get on. A lot of people will be like, well, give me a bowl of ice cream and I'll have a beer. That's how they handle it. So they just drive it in further. And then it's like, well, their aging goes faster and faster and faster. And, so anyways, this girl who did this video, and she's in like this skimpy fucking bikini thing. And I'm trying to think, I've seen so many of these transformation videos, so many. I swear to God, you see one and all of a sudden there's 100 follow it. This girl, she definitely had on small clothes and like a G-string swimsuit workout thing or whatever. So she was showing this stuff. So she was showing with her stomach and what she has done. And so she was showing it going. And one of the things, and I had gotten it out. I did it yesterday. It hurt, man. Fuck. I had seen this at probably at the bins. Because at the bins, I got a lot of weird shit. Because you're buying it by the pound, but I got some cool ass shit. So anyways, it's this weird, like, massage rolly stick thing or something. I think you massage with it. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And it's wood. And so I had gotten it. Well, she's using that on her stomach and using other things. She was also doing all that stuff, only she was also using stuff like that. And so in her transformation, where she's at right now, I was like, it really motivated me. I was out there. I got my roller thing. I was like, getting out there. I was like, fuck, man. Her stomach was insane looking. It was so jacked up, fucking, the muscles, like, man. And that's the thing, is all these people think like their body's gone. No, it's underneath what you've piled on in your mineral deficiency. You're still in there. Like, I can't even tell you some of these transformations I've seen. Oh, I picked up my ring yesterday, and he was really going on the rubies, and he was saying the jeweler person who fixed it was even commenting how nice my rubies were. He wanted to know the price, and I just kind of like, well, I think it was like 300. Like, the first one I got, it was a little bit more, but then it fell out. That's why I was so when I saw one of these was messed up, because I already lost a ruby, and so it had fallen out when I was moving. It was way back when I was with number 4. And so when it had fallen out, and I went to the place, and because when I bought the ring, I was buying all the different things. I just didn't really think about, like, fuck, rubies are expensive. And so when they were showing me the rubies, they were like, how expensive they were. And so and they didn't have that, like, the exact same size. So I had to go a little bit down rather than a little bit up because of the price. And so I'm not sure. It seems like that the first one, it could have been like, I just don't know, but it seems like one of them was a couple $100 and one of them was like $500 or something like that. And so that's why I told him. I said, I think it was like around 300 and 500. And he goes, oh yeah, that sounds about right for when I would have bought it. But he said they're worth way more now. And you have really good rubies. And I was like, really? Really? Well, look at that fancy thing I've got here. But anyways, and he was asking me a lot about the setting. Because the setting was out of at a jewelry store. They have like one bring like settings that people bring in to trade. So it's where they keep like the old, that's where you find, and I like old jewelry, like older stuff like that. And so they got those out to show me. And so you can ask for any of those, like, got old settings. You don't have to just do all of those other kind of settings. Then you just pick the stone and they put it in there. And so, anyways, I'm just really loving my ring right now. And I'm really on to the stomach thing. Like, I was so excited about the scar tissue thing being down. But anyway, she's been doing all of that stuff and is fucking, her stomach, it looks good. So, like, she's ahead of me. I think that is like her, maybe it's her focus or something like that. So she's doing videos like in a skimpy bikini thing. And I am positive that it said she was 50. But there keeps being a lot of these kind of things. But I'm pretty sure I could find the video so anyone wants to see it. But anyways, none of that stuff was the stuff I thought I was going to talk about. Is the thing that I was seeing. Okay. Because on this stuff, on the flood thing. So there's just so much, man. There's so much. So much to this, like, awakening and watching what people think and how they look at it and what they go through. And, oh, man. I swear it's just kind of fucking tedious. Fuck, it's tedious, man. And there is, like, definitely a part of me that's like, fuck, if you could just tell them. But, you know, they gotta learn. Like, this is their stuff. And there's so much with this fucking, what is that called again? The sundown town. I was just like, that was like stirred up a whole argument. And then plus this whole, like, well, just label them all sundown towns and they're all expendable. Who gives a shit? They're a bunch of fucking racists. And I just saw one guy who was crying about, literally crying. I've seen so many men crying online. Is crying, and he's blue, and he's in Florida, and he can't even believe the government, what they're doing. And then Kamala was there talking, and he was just so disgusted. He was so upset. He's like, and they're doing nothing. And there's more stuff about that. I'll say too, because so you got, see, it's a little smart. So you got all of this, all these different people with all their different stuff, and all these videos showing the destruction, which all I see is mud flood. And I'm just like, when the universe is pushing you in a different direction, you don't just go, well, you know, right here on top of this mud, we'll just build right here. It's like, I don't know. Fuck, dude. It's like, god damn, what in the mindless fuckery is going on, man? Fuck. And I don't know but I don't know. If my whole fucking town had washed away, I swear to fucking, I just really want to consider the fact that I believe that I would gather and evacuate. Like, I would head towards some place that was safe. Like, I can't believe when I'm seeing videos of people saying, you know, they're going through all of this stuff, washed out roads. Like, when you see the videos of these washed out roads, it's like, roads are just gone. It's like you're going down a road and then the mountain just washed away, and then there's another mountain, which out of the attention, this is why things happen. This is why I said, like, things are being birthed from that, heroes and stuff, and the innovative things. This guy came up with these little these bridges that he's made, like, or you can put them so that they can use these to go. So he has come up with this innovative, brilliant idea that, comes from out in the ethers. But anyways, he's the one who's brought it forth, and it's brilliant. And so he was putting those on there, anybody needs these. And so, but I mean, people are not even getting food and stuff like that. But the thing that gets me is, like, what people are going up there and they're saying, yeah, there's families up there with little kids. They haven't eaten in days. They haven't drank anything. Everything's washed away. It's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Why are they not taking their kids and going and walking down, just going? You would find other people. And they're saying 65,000 people are missing. Like, where they keep trying to be like, well, a couple hundred and stuff. Like, no, they're saying, like, there's 65,000 people missing. And we're covering a lot of different states. But I had said that there's going to be some big impact things. There's going to be some big amounts of people leaving at once. And the thing is that was only the first go round. You got number 2 coming in, and then it's got number 3 coming right after it. And that isn't even including all this other shenanigans that they got going with fires and explosions and all that stuff. And the aftermath of the one fire has went and settled over this other place that is, and they're getting very sick from it. And it definitely has a smell and stuff like that. Yesterday, the smell here was different, but man, it is like, the attack in the air is all I can call it. It's a gas attack. It's attacks in the air. And so, because kind of like Without a Crisis, where would the guy have the invention? Like, these things all work together. Like, it's like we get this new thing. And like, when we will all be rebuilding and we will be moving forward. And then plus, we're not going to need these fucking, like, the same thing with, like, their wheels, their old jalopies, they're keeping us on the ground on rubber and stuff. Like, that's all going away. So we're not going to need all their roads and stuff. We need to be going in a new direction. And that's what, with all these people. And it's like, they want to just stay. It's like, I want to dig in. I want to hold on. I've got to hold on to this. It's like, no, the universe is taking shit away from people. And you are lucky when you're still left standing, and it's time to look in a different direction, go in a different direction. And like I said, it's like as this exodus, people need to start going together and leaving these areas. And a lot of them don't have a service or anything like that, which is a part of the absurd. Like, they're completely cut off. They don't know what's going on. A lot of them keep thinking that there's help coming, that somebody's coming to rescue them. The government's surely coming to help them. And it's like, no, this is what we're being shown. The government is not there for us. That's why it's this big, giant dramas of like, oh, these people over here are dying. We're not going to talk about that, but we're going to send 555,000 trillion over here to our laundry system because we got shit to, we're about to be out of this place. So we got to get all y'all's money. So it's like these huge, giant things, seeing like because back when they were doing it more low key before it was all this awakening, exposing, it would have been a lot more like 100 million has to be sent, within the numbers are so jacked up is to get our attention, gets to be outraged over this shit. And people don't realize like that, like people want the red to come in and save you and stuff like that. The red team is just exposing. They're just trying to get people to see. They're not trying to get us under their influence. They're trying to get people to wake up. And we're not going into this that they are transitioning us into freedom. He keeps trying to expose how corrupt these different government people are. And then Kamala, to jump on and run down there and start talking. It's all part of the show. And her nonsense that she said, they've got $750. But you just got to go on online and apply. Well, which is absurd. You've already got people saying, people don't even have power. They have no way to, and then it's on them to go find a library or something that's open, and everybody line up and apply for your 750. This one guy, he did leave. He did take his family. We got an Airbnb someplace else, and so he has power and stuff. And and I know a lot of people don't have the money to go get an Airbnb and just wait for the aftermath to go see what's left of your house. But that's what he did. And so he did go online to see, and they said that the $750 isn't available to him because he has homeowners insurance. You have to go through, apply all this stuff. So there isn't any money. There isn't, it's just a bunch of bullshit. And $750, how absurd. How fucking absurd. And they don't even fucking $750. The stores aren't even fucking open. It's fucking absurd. Like, there's the stores are cleaned out, and then besides the fact that how many people have been going, like truckloads of stuff, there was like a whole bunch of trucks that were going, and then they got all their tires slashed at night, and then now they've got all these different trucks coming, and private helicopters, people with mules. It's like a whole thing of people trying to get up there to help these people, and trucks are being turned away. They're confiscating water. They're confiscating stuff that they're trying to take to people, and they're saying it has to go through FEMA. It's like absurd. And this is the kind of shit, though, that when you're paying attention to other people's disasters, that this is what has been going on. So, it's not shocking to me. Like, I saw this coming. And but it's shocking to the people who are going through it, but it's shocking to them because they're not paying attention to what's going on in other places. To those of us who are paying attention, this is like bam, bam, bam. It's like the fight of the century, man. And you just keep seeing these people just get knocked out. It's like, fuck, man. You guys pay attention. And so, and then the people who sit in dependence and sit there waiting for somebody to come and save them. And you got kids and stuff, and you're talking about, like, we haven't had water or food in 3 days. It's like, why are you not trekking down the side of the mountain to go and look? Like, this is, the explorer, the seeker, the survivor in you. Like, we're going to just sit there. And then there has been, like, all sorts of crazy things of rescues and stuff, like houses that'll slide down, and then they find people in them and stuff. So there is, but there always is going to be these cool, miraculous things that are going to happen, because everything is going to happen. Everything possible is going to happen. And so but what gets me is all these people who, just stay, oh, well, we're going to rebuild, but it's going to take decades. It's going to take decades, people. You just don't know how bad it is here. Well, I kind of would guess it's probably pretty bad because it's a mud flood, and your history is going away. And yeah, those restaurants are gone, all that. That was memories. That was a period of time that everybody had to appreciate when it was there, but now it's gone. It's gone. It's not, you can't go and rebuild it. You can't go and bring it back. It never goes back to what it was. It's just like putting it in the pet cemetery. It's not going to come back the same way as it left. So this is a letting go. This is a shedding. This is a processing. This is grieving what was there, grieving your friends, grieving your life, grieving the things that, you experienced during that period. And a lot of people are going through those. You're forced into these processes. Like, the universe isn't fucking around no more. It's like, this is going. And so people are forced into these processes of grief and stuff. So that's what you got to go through. But it also fucking gets me is like, these other storms are coming, and it's going to go and wipe out more shit. And I was like, well, I don't know. People are going to just be like, oh, it's just another one and another one. Do they, like, are they paying? I don't know. Some of them don't even have power. Like, this shit is inevitable. It's destiny. It's like this stuff is going to happen. The people who are taking steps towards their own survival will be the ones who will survive. But you have to listen to like your internal thing. Like some of those people, like, I don't know, it makes me feel like that there would be people like sitting up there with their family. And it's almost like, you could even have one kid. Well, we should leave. We should leave. We should go and find other people. We should go do this. And the dad or mom, no, we got to stay right here. This is where they're going to come looking for us. And this is where we got to stay. Somebody's going to come. And, then it goes through another night and another day and getting cold. And then the kid or whoever is like, okay, well, we need to be going. We need to be going. And then, another storm comes in and wipes them out, and they're all standing there in the life review. Then you see, and the person who's not listening, it is like they set up these rules, these fallback rules, instead of going with their gut. It's like, well, no, I mean, because logically somebody will come because the government cares about us, and they're going to come and try and find us and bring us food and water. And in reality, that's not the truth. And so the people are sitting there waiting, but I feel like that the soul would be kind of nagging at them, and then you'd have somebody saying something. And so those are the things when you get in your life review, you start looking at and it's like, oh man, why wasn't I listening? What was I doing? Why was I not? So there's always these lessons when people get into their life reviews of seeing things from a different perspective. And then just like how, this revisiting of Dickie has and plus it's showing me all that stuff. And then all of a sudden this other thing comes in and hits for the double smack down on the choice that I made, and having to really evaluate, because that's where you find your healing. What was it? Like, why was I that way? What was my motivation? What was my drive? Why was I making those choices? Because that is where you go in and you find what it is that you need to heal. And so it's, and that's what like your life review is about, is going in and looking like, why, when I had this choice, why did I make that choice? Like, and then when you get to see the dark side, the consequences of the choice you make. Like when talking about this, it's like the person who's pursuing me, going after me and love bombing me, then I'm like, oh, well, this person is the one who really likes me. This person over here is, the things that I came up with, was my own insecurities. It's like, I should have been giving more too. I should have been saying more. I shouldn't have been playing games. So I played games, and then this person who's coming love bombing, and then always I'll get videos, just like I was saying, that lady with the stomach thing. So I always get videos that give me confirmation and show me more to whatever it is that I'm thinking about or going through or conversing about or something. So I'll always get more confirmation in the direction. Like, you have breadcrumbs through life to direct you towards what it is you need to work on. But it's like you have to look for them. You have to, know that they're out there. And so it's like up to you to know, like, well, I've got issues, so I can work on them. And so anyways, so you have all these people who are, some are crying because the government's disappointing them so much. Some are getting angry and upset because the disappointment of the government. And nobody's coming and helping them. Nobody's doing shit. And there's dead people everywhere. There's debris. It's a fucking mess. It's a fucking, this is what is happening. And then plus in that area, I know so many different videos where people are talking, have said, you guys need to just look at this fucking doom. I keep seeing the naval projection map on Google. Like, people have got to Google that. This isn't over. These people act like, okay, well, we got through that storm, it's over. Florida is hitting one after another for a couple of years. And I don't remember ever hearing so many hurricanes before in my life. And especially such big ones. And then there's so much about the so much about the weather manipulation and all that stuff. You know, they're definitely doing these storms. They are definitely a part of trying to, with their reset. And maybe they're trying to hide things. And maybe it is because there's a whole thing now. It's not just that they have the most courts over North Carolina and this lithium thing, which people are saying California is next because they have a huge, huge amount of lithium. But there's another resource that has been found out that they have, that these people want for whatever, with their technology or whatever it is they're trying to do. I can't remember what it was, but the lithium, the quartz, and another thing. And so, you know, and it is always about these land grabs and the resources, and they all fucking, they're violent in their land grabs. We recognize that. They don't come in nice. They just come in and burn the fucking place down. And so they are, whatever is going on there. I mean, I believe that the map is showing, and I believe that we're not going to be going in the direction of lithium. I believe that this is all a big part of the show. I believe we're going to be going in these other kind of directions, and it's going to be more harmonious and living in a more natural flow with that's why we'll have free energy and stuff. We'll be tapping into the natural side of the energy of Earth. Like, is going to be different. And that's why they say quantum, because it's something about us and our connection to ourselves through our energy body or something. Like, it's more complex. Like, and it's so all this awakening and everything has to do with us getting us into hold on. Getting us into this God, I like the cup with the straw better. I might just switch back. I don't know if I see that much difference drinking. I mean, it's all these fucking chemicals. We just fucking, goddamn. Oh, I can't wait. I swear. I've seen where they say, like, when the money thing starts going. Oh, yeah. And there was a guy who said, hold on. Because we've heard these things so many times. Hold on. I'm just tongue scrawling. That this was somebody saying that their friend has two sons in the service, and one of their sons had just called their friend and said that I can't tell you anything what's going on, but he said, please go get stocked up before the weekend. And so they just wanted to put that out there, and we've heard these over different times, so it can just be you know, more of, but it's coming still, no matter what. I went and got stocked up every time I go out, and it gets that thing, I get restocked up for, okay, I gotta, you know, but I've kind of grown accustomed to this being, you know, sticking to the house for a couple weeks, not needing to go anywhere. I've like adapted my life to that. And I don't know, I feel like that's part of living rural comfortably, is not feeling like you have to go in town all the time and get this and get that, like being like, well, if I don't have it, I don't have it. And but I also got a lot more hooked on, you know, something I need, ordering it off Prime. I think that kind of stuff will still be available, but it's gonna not be, it will be more of there's gonna be so much with the corporations that are gonna be going down. And there's going to be so much with jobs that are going to be filled in with AI. There's going to be so much reevaluating over things that we need and don't need. Like, I mean, seriously, we don't need the middle of the grocery store. So, you know, we just need farmers markets. We don't need all this stuff that they're trying to poison us with. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be changed. Just like the tires, like we're going to be in those flying cars. We're going to be driving our own little spaceships around soon. I don't know how soon, but that's going to be like, things are going to go fast. And so I had heard that when you go in with the money thing, like when you go to, there's going to be a whole little thing about that money. And it supposedly we'll all go in and, you know, we'll have some appointment and we'll be told things or whatever. And at the appointment, that's when they'll talk to you about your medical and if you need a med bed. That's what the word on the street is. But there's been so many of these people where it's like, you know, I don't know if this is just their hope, that this is what they want, and they've all started saying it, and but that's how this world is run, is they get us to focus on something. So if we all keep focusing on that, they're going to talk to us about the money thing and get us all in med beds, and that's like, I'll focus on that too. Like, I'm good with that. I'll put my energy towards positive things. So anyways, so we have that going. Whatever. There's a yesterday, and that is why I did yesterday afternoon. I did run out and get that, because I was gonna go this morning and go do some things, like go to the dog park, go get water and stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, I'll just kind of leave it to you guys, because it was like, I don't like to go out in the afternoon, and it was going to be coming in the afternoon. And it's so dreary by me. Like, it's very dreary and the dark. It's creepy. It's just eerie, and then the fucking poison. I swear to God, to go outside and just fucking poison all my fucking time. And and you'd think, like, you could go out in a forest, it's so beautiful, fuck. And then whatever they fucking have done with the temperature, I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous. You get frostbite out there. It's fucking so goddamn cold. No fucking way it's 36 degrees. So fuck off with your shit. I'm so sick of this shit, man. So I'm sick of these motherfuckers. So anyways, so I was like, man, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, and I was exhausted, man. I was so tired, and so I laid down on the couch, and I'm just being bitchy. Like, the dogs are very, but I'm feeling like they're treating me with disrespect, like I'm just their little slave, and they treat me like I'm their little bitch. I'm really getting pissed off about it. Like, you gotta have boundaries even with those little bitches. So anyways, I've been, kind of snapping back at them. They want this and want that, and demanding this and demanding that. It's like, ugh. So, and we went on 2 walks yesterday, by the way. A long one, too. And at the end of the one where I was like, no, I don't want to go. She just yanks. She's just like, what she wants, we're doing. It's like, motherfucking shit. And then, so we did the long walk. Luckily, she didn't drag us out into the new development, too. Sometimes she does that, and she'll get tired, and she'll walk like we're walking like a goddamn slug on the way back. I think a slug could pass us at the pace that we're moving on the way back. And she's always panting, and I've even had people before when we would walk over there and it'd be hot out. Oh, does she need water here? I'll get you some water. But she won't drink of it. She's just always like, she's a big old fucking girl. And so anyways, and she does need the exercise, and fucking Max needs the exercise. God, he's getting chunky, and he's got fucking food issues. Like, boy, he's really showing some of his issues. He's got anxiety. He's got a few issues. And it's just getting to the time, where you start seeing, like, you're going out of the honeymoon phase. You start seeing their real self, but then they start getting more comfortable. Like, he hasn't even gotten to the point of, really getting comfortable here. He's still on edge and stuff. So, anyways, but when we went to go get the ring, then we went down to go walk by the ocean. And so went down there, and there was a ton of people, and the train went by. I've never been down there, and the train went by. It was fucking intense. Max was going insane. The dogs were freaked. Like, what the fuck is that? And it's so close. It's like right next to you, and this fucking train just going, and so motherfucking loud. And anyway, so went down there, and that was like, oh my God. That was exhausting to me, especially after already having another walk. And it just, Max just like keeps going around me and around me. I'm like trying to, oh my God, I was fuck. I'm sure at one point I'm sitting there trying not to do that, and I look up and there's 4 people, like a whole family just sitting on a bench watching me like we're just waiting for you to fall. I was like, cool, man. No, they didn't say that, but that's what I think, It's like, I was just sitting there watching, like, is she gonna fall? Is she gonna fall? Get your phone out. Get your phone out. We gotta go viral. Let's get somebody falling. Let's get somebody getting hurt. So, no, they didn't do that, though. But that's the world that we live in. So, anyways, oh, yeah, okay, so when I, was conversing, well, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Well, I guess let's see what the information is that you bring me. You tell me. And then I started seeing Bank of America was closed down. Like, anybody who had that account, you were closed out. You couldn't get to money. They were seeing it's glitch. That whole thing was going. I was like, look, I better go while my card's working, or I won't be able to pick up my ring. So I better fucking go down there, because like that could be a sign, like it's gonna be. I mean, you can go at any time. So, anyways, that was my sign. I was like, well, I'm just gonna go get it now. So I went and drove down there. Fucking traffic and shit to get it. So I went and drove, went and got my ring, went to the ocean, went and walked around the dogs. I'm going crazy and stuff. Went and got water, and got back today. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere. Well, next week, if my check goes in, if everything goes as Groundhog Day as it has been, then when I get my check, I'll go get supplies again. So see, that's what I'll do. And every time, I swear to God, it just gets more and more crazy out there. But you know, I'll go get stuff, because you do run out of some things, but you got to have things that you can just survive off of, like when you can't go. And plus, it has so much to do with your mind and what you think you need. And so that is like this reevaluation of what it is you think you need. And I've been doing that for a while. So, and then people are going to be hit, you know, gut punched on that. And it's just like that one lady sitting there saying, we've got to cut back and share this stuff and everything because of the whole thing with the ports. And then you have so many, like, now there's pictures. Now fucking, what's his name? Kendrick. No, is it Kendrick Lamar? Is going in the beef with Drake, exposing him. He's exposing all their shit. I think his name is Kendrick Lamar. And he just did a video of them all singing the song about these people, and they're doing it all in front of the big, what are they called? Crates? No, they're not called crates. The port thing, the big things that they bring people over in. So, that's what the people are really striking on, is working conditions. I guess, you know, when they hear people screaming, they're not allowed to open it. They're not allowed to do anything. And so when some of these pictures I saw was a bunch of the, whatever they're called, opened, and people in them, kids in them, so much stuff. Oh my God. Like they're, oh my gosh. It's so fucking creepy. There's no there's no windows, there's no air. Like, oh, it's like traveling in a coffin or something. Oh, it's so creepy, man. So you have all of that all going on, and it's so fucking deep on all of that. The corruption behind, like, it's so much bigger than just traffic. Like, this whole thing is just so big, and it's like a lot of things that have to fall apart. And so Kendrick doing this whole, releasing this song or whatever, and having this whole thing in front of those right at the same week that those people go on strike and start talking about that. At the same time, you got all these people being charged with buying the people who are coming across there. So it's all of these things happen, you know, all of this at once, of all these pieces that start being shoved together for people. Like before, when we were going and looking stuff up, we would, you know, rabbit holes or whatever, you know, you want to call it, and researching, and, you know, it would kind of be like something would spark your interest, and you'd be like, what? And a lot of it was like horrifying. You'd be like, this can't be true. And you start looking, and it's like, fuck, it's worse than I thought. And then you try and tell people, and they're like, oh my God, you're so crazy. I got to get to work. Take your crazy ass and go someplace else. Like, so, and there was such a big wave in 2020 of people that woke up. The people in 2020 that woke up think that that's when everybody, you know, that's when all those people woke up. But, you know, mine was back 2016, and I've talked to people that was before that. And so, and it's all in these segments, you know. But I was definitely, you know, like I said, I was seeing, like, we're in this three-dimensional world. Like, you start questioning things, and you just naturally start seeing through things, you naturally start being like, no, that's some bullshit. No, that's some bullshit. And so then, and then the more you say that, the more that the people who are riding that bullshit through life are, think you're crazy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is what life is. It's like, no, it's not. I was like, you try and tell them, and it's like, you're just crazy, crazy, crazy. So but it's just trippy because there's so many people who think like, yeah, well, I was in the people who woke up in 2020. Like they're way ahead of the people who are waking up right now. It's like, fuck, there's some of us that will wake up way before that, have been watching all this. And then, and there's people before us. So it's been like a long, drawn out thing. And whatever it is that you are here to learn and whatever you're here to experience is what your experience is going to be. And so, yeah, mine has definitely been, all the things that I say. It is challenging, and you do want to go in and fix things for people. You do want to tell them, but they don't hear you because they're not supposed to hear you. Is that, to me, these people, they should be looking at these motherfucking maps and seeing like, oh, our town just got washed away. Well, it looks like in our map, this is all going to be gone. It's going to be gone all the way over there, all the way over there, all the way down here. Well, we should probably head that way and get somewhere where we can start rebuilding that's going to be safe. And then, what you got to is so much about listening to your guidance and so much about people not understanding how much they force things, like they put into action what they want. And it's not necessarily where the universe is angling you or trying to push you themselves. Like they would be trying to push you. They're going to push you into your next experience. So I can't say like, oh, well, if you just do what they say, it's going to all go smooth. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, just your life becomes perfect. You just start to understand it more. It starts to make sense. Things that matter more than what you have been led to believe. And so you start being able to use your challenges in life to your benefit by learning through the process. So it's, but all the things, how it goes down is the way it's supposed to go down. And whatever benefit you get from it, that is up to you. And sometimes you'll go to your life review and see like you weren't getting all the benefit you could have. And so that's for you to reevaluate your own self and to heal things. And a lot of times before, it would be people would go back into other lives. And because it's like seeing it from different angles and stuff. It's like all these different perspectives. So those naturally teach you how to not be biased, or not because so many people are working on biases. But I don't know, it's this whole thing about working towards not being judgmental, not looking at people the way that we, like no man is over another man. No man should tell another man what to do. And no man should listen to what another man tells him what to do. Like all these different things have to play out. So, and everybody has different things. Some people listen to what other people tell them to do. And then they have to look in like, why am I doing that? What is my motivation? What is missing in me that I feel like these people can fix? And it can be so intricate. It's very convoluted on some of this stuff. How we rationalize to try and manipulate and get the things that we feel we need to get to survive. So sometimes you have to really get in there and take a hard look at yourself. And your patterns of behavior may not be completely clear to you until you see some things play out, and you'll notice them by awareness. You may not catch them the first few times. And but nowadays, you're going to have more and more people who will be catching things and pointing them out to you because everybody is seeing through things. Everybody's seeing stuff differently. So, but the more that you can see yourself, the more that you can make changes and be like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be like that. So, you just change it. And then when you catch yourself starting to do it, you start being like, well, why am I about to do that? Okay, so what's going on? What's going on? Check in. That's that. Check in with yourself and try and figure out like, what is going on with me? Why am I all of a sudden I want to go do this and I don't want to be like this? I mean, so go in and try and find where is this all coming from. And breaking patterns, you got to remember, is really difficult. And because the patterns, the natural thing that you want to do is going to be the most comfortable. When you're doing something that is not comfortable, that's when you're breaking the patterns. That's when you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do, and that's what you need to do more of. The things you wouldn't normally do. Change it up. Look at it different. Think it through different. And that's when you'll start seeing, like, well, I have control over this stuff. It doesn't have to play out like this. I can go in and have this kind of attitude. I don't have to go in there and argue and fight with this person. There's things that you see, like you have control over things that you feel like you don't have control over. But it's just by your awareness and taking things, a simple one is the thing with the reaction to how people behave and what people say to you. Then you start seeing, like, oh, I don't have to say shit. I don't have to say shit. They'll figure it out. And so, and the more you don't say, the more that they're going to hear the fucking echo inside of themselves. So the more that you do keep yourself shut down on, provoking or fighting back with some of these toxic relationships, the more that they will have to face their own toxicity. And that echo is their own soul, their own self talking, so they're going to hear it loud and clear. And then when people don't, it's just because they're so disconnected. Like they are I would say it's more of being in so much pain. Like it would be so painful to have to really see that you've got these issues or something. Like they're so beat down. They hate themselves so much that they can't even face any of that. The sad thing is facing it is what changes it. Then you start loving yourself. Then you start seeing, like, fuck, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can be whoever I want. I can feel however I want. Like, I've got so much more control in the world than I thought I needed, than I realized I did. And so, there's all that benefit when you start having these realizations. And it takes how many ever times, some people, they don't see the benefit of healing. But once you start seeing the benefit of healing, you'll see the benefit of healing. And it changes your life. In the so over there with the people that they are sitting there waiting for someone to come save them. I feel like they're gonna get hit again. I feel like there's gonna be more tragedy because this is what the universe is trying to show us. This isn't the way to go. And the way to go is it's like to pay attention, to look at things. Like I just feel like man, it's so weird because some of this stuff just like happens naturally for some of us, but then these other people it doesn't. It's like, well, it's not supposed to. So some of these people, it's like they're not supposed to survive this. And like we could get frustrated and cry and want to get over there and get them to understand and stuff, but some of them aren't supposed to. And so there's going to be more. There's going to be more tragedies, more really sad things. And it's going to keep going. And, I just feel like that the people who, have that motivation to save themselves, like, let's fucking walk down the mountain. Let's go see what's going on out in the world. Let's just go. And then plus there's like a sense of adventure, almost like Swiss Family Robinson kind of thing. Like, taking your family and like, we're going to go. And like, I've seen people who are like, well, we're out of formula and we need formula. Somebody's got to get us some formula and bring it to us and stuff like that. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. There's like a survivor and then there's somebody can come get me. Somebody save me. And I don't want to judge either thing. because I know some people are in these really bad predicaments, and there is people who are going to come in and save them, because those patterns are also going to play out, and there's going to be all sorts of heroes and all sorts of fantastic, magical, cool things that are going to happen for people. But I'm just saying, as a whole, as a drive of society, to have these things happen, and their first response is just sit back and wait for somebody to come, and the government and insurance, and we'll build back, and we need food, we need water, we're not going to have stores, we're not going to have this, we're not going to have that. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like I feel like if I was talking to somebody who was also sees patterns and stuff, like that, they would also be seeing the same thing as me. It's like you're your own worst enemy, and I don't know what motivates you. I don't know why it is that it has to do with the lessons of what people are here to learn. 'Cause I don't understand, why would you sit back in this fucking disaster, and like, what are you holding on to? What is going to be built back? What are you like? Especially like when you know about what the reset and the mud floods, that how much of our history is buried beneath us. And it's like the people are just oblivious. They're just like, just keep on going. Oh, well, maybe this weekend we can get to the game. Oh, well, it's just this, oh no, there's just this superficial, artificial side of humanity that's really being purged out. And they all are so programmed into it. And this is bringing us back to our roots, because that's where we find our truth. We find our abilities. We find our skills. We find what we're made of. So it's bringing us back to our roots. And this is another thing that was getting me, is like, like the people like the Amish. If this happened in an Amish community, the response would be so much different. And it would not be sitting there waiting for the government to come and do shit. They would come, I mean, it would be like immediate, like a fucking thing of ants or something. Like immediately, they know how to work together. It's like they're all in the same wavelength or something. They're all connected. And they may be like connected through their heritage, their culture, and their religion. And some, even in the Amish community, from what I understand, some are these different sects. Like some are very, very religious, and others are not as religious. And the ones that are super religious look more down on the ones that aren't as religious. But that's kind of like how it always, the hierarchy goes in this kind of religion kind of thing. But those people, if shit went down there, they would not be sitting there waiting for the fucking government. They would be, all of them together would jump up and be there for each other. They would be, yeah, man, I don't see it like a, whatever. They'd be in their little fucking horses going down there and getting people, taking them up to a barn or something, someplace where it'd be safe, and there'd be people up there cooking, feeding them and shit. Like, they'd be setting up shelters. They'd be like giving, and here, I've got two, take this, like it's very, like the way our culture has been devised is very divisive. I mean, there's a reason why at this point we have fucking children, fucking killing children. Predator, like and this isn't, it's not just those ones. There's so many I see. There's so many, like there's 15-year-old boys raping 2-year-old girls. There's like every fucking horrific thing that can play out is playing out. Everything that's going to be is being. And so there's like every horrific thing, but it's like that something with these kids, it's something with their programming. It's like, it's cut them off, and they're very, like they have no respect for any older people, not their own parents. There's some girls, like these girls, like, I don't know, they look like they're like 19, 20, like just starting college, kind of, got out of high school, and there's like an edge that happens when that, a girl takes this next step. There's a maturity level So these two girls, they were still very young adults, but they were, you know, out, you could tell they were out of high school. And they were at the pharmacy. And these two young girls, or no, I think it was three. I think it was a gang of three of them, 11 or 12 years old. And they walk up to him and they said, they talk all in these weird slang words. And they said something about, you know, this just isn't shining. It's not giving me shine or something like, and then walk off. And the girls were like, what the hell? And so they were talking about this whole thing. And I was just thinking, it's so strange because, like, when we were 11 or 12, fuck, we saw like a college kid, it would have been like, oh my God, they're the coolest. Oh my God, they're so cool. Like, an older person, if they even fucking gave you an opportunity to speak or to even acknowledge you, you were just like, oh my God, you know, somebody's acknowledging me. An older person, like, you know, drop to my knees. Oh, thank you for noticing I'm here. And then an older person, you had so much respect for them, like, oh, their knowledge and stuff. And then now where, you know, they've drug these concepts or these, our way that we used to be, they've drug it down. And now you got these kids that are just like, what do you think? Like, we're gonna have fifth graders running this place? Like, what the fuck? You guys really think you got a handle on all this? And they're just like really cut off. They have no respect for anybody. They are super hateful. They are super smug. And I swear to God, I feel like so much of it also has to do with this generation that was handed these fucking devices at young ages. So it was like, you know, I've got to do the dishes here, look at your iPad. And so all of these kids who had all this technology from a long time, and like I said yesterday, I'm kind of even thinking, was that show telling us like there is some provocation in their programming, you know, for murder? Like, it's weird, man. But it is this way of development to develop them into a way of having no compassion, no empathy, you know, no respect, and no connection. Like, because that is their plan for their future. Like, they can't have humans that care about other humans. What super soldier would do that? And they've always got this way of it. They want to create these super soldiers, you know, that just don't give a shit. Just like, that project has been underway in China for a long time, where they have gotten the civilization to be very disconnected from one another, and to be very, I think it's China, fragile too, in your, like, your disappointment. One of those places, there's a lot of suicide too. But then there's that whole thing where somebody dies in the street, they just walk over them. They don't even, like, I've seen so many videos of these, like, people getting hit by a car. People just keep walking. They don't even, it's like they don't even see it. They don't even notice. And it's all done through programming. And then plus, I don't know, it's almost like our brains need this stimuli. Like, there's a reason why they got people on the phones, the technology and stuff like that. And then I've seen people who get themselves out of the here and now. Like, they get themselves locked in to their own story, it's like their own nightmare. It's like people lock themselves into their own nightmare in their own mind. And so it's like, you know, we do this stuff without knowing, from being toxic or having trouble or whatever. But it's like they know, so then they promote it. So they know what things will happen in society that would urge that. And so that is where I think, and it was slow, because in there, I call these people talking about the 25, it's so fucking stupid. In the 30, it says about that kind of stuff. So it takes 4 generations or something to get to where you want it to be. And that's where I think that's their for. So I feel like that this is what they wanted. They wanted these kids, and that they're seeing it as a success. Like, you got these kids out fucking, and the trauma that goes on in these families. Like, God, I can't even fucking imagine. Oh my God. Because you love your kid. Oh my God. I just, fuck. Like that kind of stuff playing out. Like, fuck, I don't want them out. I don't want to. I let them play it out. I don't want to play that out. Like, that is horrendous. Like, fuck, man. God damn. One of your kids killing this is happening so much. Jeez. And other ones too, like people's cousins killing them, like people's babysitters. There's so much fucking crazy shit going on. But anyways, yeah, I wouldn't want to be having to face that. Like, I don't know how you would even do it. Like, God, you'd be, oh God, because you'd be so mad at the kid who did it, but then you would also love them and want to be there for them. And then you'd also be looking at yourself like, what did I do wrong? Like, how the hell did this happen? Now, and this is something that I think is so important, because you got to remember, like, how this generation thing works. They have to work on the parents to get to the kids. So there's an issue with these parents, and I keep seeing this play out over and over and over. But I saw a girl yesterday online, and she was bawling her head off. Like, she was bawling. Then you go in the comments, and you see what the people's reactions are and what the people say. And so that's where you see, like, oh, this is where we're at. So she, it's always I feel sorry for me. Things are so hard, and government sucks, man. So her daughter, I think her daughter's 11 or something, has got issues, and her daughter is crying. I don't know what, she doesn't want to go to school. She hates school. She doesn't want to go to school. She cries every day. She acts like she's sick. She's got stomach aches. I had this go with one of my daughters. So I've gone through a lot of this stuff. Like, I have 4 daughters. So so she is dealing with this, and so she's got to get to work. And she's crying, and she's all upset because her insurance won't pay for her to have a counselor. And she's so mad about, so she's going off about that. Like, her child needs a counselor, and nobody's there for her child. And this is over and 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 over. So and this is what these, like, trying to get this message across to people, is they don't need a motherfucking counselor. They need you. They need your time. They need to be heard. They need you to go and spend real time with them, real valuable time. The time that your boss is going to pay you for. Your child who can't pay you for it is the one who needs it. The one who needs it is where you're going to find the most growth, where you put your time, and so you put your time where you're not getting money for it. You're going to find it is really going to grow. Like, that relationship will grow, that closeness, that you will really find your kid, healing and feeling better, and being able to talk about their stuff, listening, not trying to control them or control how they look at it, but to allow them to experience, and for you to be there for them and listen to their experience, and converse with them like it's real. And so that is healing. And going and spending time. Like, so many parents don't even know how to put the goddamn phones down. Like, son of a bitch in hell, man. But put your motherfucking phone down and go out and walk. Even if all you have available is a park. Make it every day, for 15 minutes. Why don't me and you go walk around the park, and let's just talk about life? And you would see your child you don't need to pay a counselor, have insurance, get a job so you have the insurance so you can get a counselor. And then you got to have the medication. You got to have medication because you're going to need medication. I just it's so motherfucking absurd. It's so fucking basic. This is why I'm saying we got to get back to basics. Motherfucking simple life. And these people, because they do this programming through the generations, that these people don't realize like what they're even doing. Then they haven't seen the consequences. Like, this stuff is just going. So so you have all these kids who are all a mess, and their parents don't know what to do with them. and those schools who want to take advantage of the whole scenario. So everything is just a big clusterfuck. But it, just going back to basics, and like for one thing, I would stop with the fucking school, 100%. Fucking stop with that shit. Yesterday, even driving, and I had to drive past. It was the whole thing with this one school. I don't remember the whole thing, but whatever. When I was processing through some stuff, and they had torn down this school, and then they were rebuilding it. And with the whole thing with government money and where they put the money, and oh, we're gonna make this nice school. It's fucking prison. It's a goddamn camp for your kid. It's not a goddamn education center. It's fucking a fallacy. So that you are going, and then it's a way that they just just put the money. So fucking absurd. So, anyways, that to me, at this point, if my daughter was getting up and saying, I want to go to school, I want to go to school, and it was hard. Like, I was a single mom too, and I had to go to school, and I had a fucking trying job, like I fucking hated, and I didn't know at the time that was, everything was going to shift. I didn't know how it was going to shift, but the universe was going to come in and, shift things up, because I wasn't going in the right direction. A lot of these people aren't, and a lot of these people are not going to realize, like, these shakeups, your life falling apart, is because you're going in the wrong direction. And so many of these people don't realize that all your child needs is some of your time, some of your valuable time that you give to them. And then people think like, well, because this lady even said my insurance or my house payment's going up $450. And I see people get so caught up in all of these bills and stuff. But what we need to do is just start being like, I don't need all this shit. My need is healthy. I need my own health. I need my kids to feel like, connected to something, a family unit, to a community. They need to feel like there's something there. And sending them off to school and telling them that's your community is not working. Kids are being belittled. The schools are just nothing but shenanigans, manipulation, gaslighting. And it's very, I would imagine it's very uncomfortable for a lot of kids. And so I would be, at this point, from where I'm at in my knowing, I would be making different shifts. But I can see how people don't see. Like, I had to go through a lot to get to this point. And these people are just going through it. But, for people who are out there trying to figure out, like, what should I do? What do I do? I was like, fuck off with the school. You can sign up and say you're homeschooling, and that kind of covers you. And I don't know how much government overstep, because they've got their whole thing, like they'll take your kids away. And that's, once they start getting you into that system, that's their fucking legal kidnapping. But we're going to see a lot of people going down for this shit. And all this shit. And then there's people who, like, some of the stuff I've seen is, like, there's people who, oh, man, like kind of like, I don't know, coaches or teachers or principals, or, like, there's people who are, there's money movement around. Like, there's a lot of shit people are going to be going down for. Ugh. And then I think some of them get themselves into these positions and don't know what to do. But that's where you start trying to figure out something to do, or you can get yourself real caught up in some shit. And there's gonna be a lot of people who are caught up in some shit that they're not gonna see coming. And so, anyways, all that's gonna keep going and going. But if I, had a kid who was crying, didn't want to go to school at this point, and I was getting overwhelmed by my bills, I'd be like, well, we're gonna fucking go, we're gonna level down on how much money we need to put into, like, how much I need to work. It is like, people need to get it down to where you can survive off working part-time. Right now, they've got things somewhat inflated and stuff. It's like, how? That's the most ridiculous thing. Most people don't even get paid enough to pay the normal rent. But that is, because the universe can see that. So the universe is going to flip it all upside down. So it's coming, but it's our way of thinking. That's what we've got to reassess. It's our way of thinking, because we are what creates this flipping. So we have to be reassessing. Like, no, I'm not going to keep going and paying more. This has to shift. I should be able to get that size of place for this much money. That's what we got to start putting out there into the universe. And so that's where we will start having. There's going to be a lot of topsy-turvy and upheaval until we get there. But in the process, like, fuck, I swear to God, I would just be like, come on, kids, we're going to live in a van. And you aren't going to school anymore. We're going to go on some adventures. And let's just, ride this out on our adventures. Maybe we'll run across, a community or a place that we really want to stay. And so I would be doing something more like that. And I am maybe in the direction that I'm going to go. I'm just still like, I mean, it eats at me too. It's like, fuck, we're already going into winter, man. Fucking hell. Like, god damn. Fuck. The fucking storms and the windstorms and shit and the snowstorms. It's like, motherfuck. So it's, and it's not like, going and getting a van and going like, you can just go out in all these storms and just live in a van either. You can't, like, I don't know. It's just, because it's not just like somebody can just tell you. It's not somebody can just tell you, well, this would be the place, this would be the thing. No, it's all individual. Everybody's got to listen to their own soul. But for me, it is like, yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that just wants to go get a van, but then there's another part of me that's like, I don't know, if it was time for me to go, I feel like that would be something. Like, I'm always watching the signs and communicating and trying to see, like, but I know it's not just like when you want to do something, like you want to escape, you want to go here, you want to go there. That's where so many people end up going with that. That's what drives them. But there's timing, there's a plan, and everything falls into place when you go with your timing. When you can sit back and be like, okay, there's timing, everything's gonna work at this moment where I'll see and things will go and everything will fall into place. But most people can't just sit back and wait for things to fall in place. They try and force things to fall in place. And so that is, a lot of people are learning all different things. And so, everybody has to figure their own thing. Because, like, if it was, like, if some single mom in California, and she's like, fuck, I just really got to get out of here. My kids are crisis. My job is too much. I can't fucking do this. I'm just going to, take some money, trade my car for a van, put in what stuff that we have that are important to us, and just go. And the thing is, you're driving into the unknown, and you're driving into one storm after another. And so it is kind of like a pressure to find community, because in community is where we'll find safety. But not in all of the communities. Some of the communities fall apart. And a lot of them, they're saying people are coming together and stuff. But, there's still a lot of people sitting back waiting for the government to, come in and save them. It's like, that's not what's going to happen. Like, you got to come in together. And so, but there can also be a mom, she's like, okay, kids, we're fuck school. I'm tired of this. I don't want to risk y'all's life and all this, like this reevaluation of pressure inside of her. And then so she's following her guidance. And so she starts going, and it leads her right to the perfect place, the perfect community. She pulls up, they go in, go get some food. They're sitting in a little coffee shop, and the conversation, and somebody over there starts saying this, and all of a sudden it's like, there's my people. They're right here talking to me, being friendly, and we're, and that's where you end up being, and somebody knows a place. And even if it's just that you can park your van out back until you get this job, like, everything will just fall into place when you're at the place you're supposed to be. But it's for everybody to find that maneuver through the breadcrumbs or your own personal drive. What is it that what is motivating you? What is it you being led by? Are you being led by other people's opinions? Are you being led by your own impulses, your own fears? Or are you being led by your guidance and timing and, you know, the way things work out. So anyways, I've been talking for a long while, and you know, I swear I could just go off on, there's so many of these things you could just talk about and talk about. And I just think that there's so much more to understanding about how spirituality works. Like, it had nothing to fucking do with how many crystals you own, you know, how you wear your hair, what you're, if you're vegan or not. I would definitely, though, as somebody who has gone through this much of the awakening, say that anybody who is out there, um, natural is the direction to go. So yeah, we have a whole bunch of people who are spiritual gurus, but they're super artificial, super, you know, like with their ridiculous hair and their tons of makeup and the whole fucking outfit and stuff like that. Like, it's all about the show. It's like, no, it's not about the show. Like, you know, I don't know, what did Jesus wear? Just like a robe walking around? Like, you don't have to fucking, it's not about that. It's about a way of living. It's about a way of looking at life. It's about a way of finding yourself. So anyways, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. We'll talk more in the morning. So anyways, just remember, as all this shit goes down today, as more shit will go down, and it may be that we are being led into this finally. If they finally do the goddamn EBS and finally whatever, like I'm even to the point now. It's like, are they even gonna do an EBS? Like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna go down. I'm like, there's no fucking telling. There's no fucking telling. Like, there was those of us who thought they were going to do the EBS 2020. So now it's like, fuck. I don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, hopefully it hurries and happens this weekend. Like, even though that seems horrible, because, like, again, some of this is going to be, you know, washing away all these places and things. And, you know, our world is being reset. So anyways, my advice is, of course, go look at that map when you're considering where you want to rebuild. Like, so anyways, just remember what you're doing here, learning how to love yourself, love everyone else, and how to have a living day, because it's totally up to you. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.